Good morning, knitters. It's Phelan from Strands Knitting Studio in San Clemente, California. And today I have on my needles, I have some new yarn and some classes. So stay tuned. Okay, so first off, I'm sort of going to combine new yarn and on my needles because that's why it's on my needles. So we got our minis in from Dream in Color. So as you can see, our Dream in Color wall is quite lovely and very full, and it's about to get fuller. We have the DK coming in sometime this week, we think, for sure by the beginning of next week if it's not in. But they have minis. So minis are tiny little skeins this is only 88 yards. And they're really good for doing color work things so that you don't have to buy full skeins. And you need, like, I'm using 6 colors. I'm using these 6 colors in my project. And so I didn't have to buy 6 full skeins. I mean, you can't buy 6 full skeins or even 50-gram skeins. So you do these teeny little ones that are called minis, and they range anywhere from like 88 yards up. I mean, ours are 88 yards. Minis in general go from like 88 yards to like maybe 120 yards. 120 is a big mini. So usually they're 88, 100, somewhere in there. Ours are 88. They're $10 a skein. So, so what I'm doing is a Ho-He, I don't remember the name, Amazing Day. Amazing Day is the name of the pattern. Oh my goodness, my needles are all stuck in it. So Amazing Day, and this is what I'm doing. And it's a fun knit, because once you've done this first section up here, it has short rows, but I'm using German short rows, which are a piece of cake. It's very repetitive what you do. And so once you start a little section, like once you start this section, you know what to do. When you do this section, you know what to do for the whole section. This section. Once you've done this, you know what your color order is. So you only have to look up here to know which was color 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so, yeah, it sort of becomes intuitive. You do have to check the pattern when you start a new color one. These ones are pretty, they're always the same. So, it's just going to be a little crescent shawl. And so I'm using the lamb and goat for the main color, which is also Dream in Colors. This is merino and goat cashmere. It's lovely. I use 2 skeins of this. I'm hoping to use 2 skeins of this. It's just under what the yardage calls for, but sometimes they'll say 2 skeins or something and then you don't use the whole thing. I went up a needle size. So I tend to do this on shawls anyways, and I guess I'm on the sort of tighter side. I'm not really, but I tend to go up when it comes to a shawl, just because I feel like the fabric can be drapier because it's a little bit looser. But here's the other thing. When you go to a bigger size needle, the yarn goes further. So, because you're not doing as many stitches per inch. So the yarn goes a little bit further. So I'm hoping that gets me to where my lamb and goat makes it all the way. And I only need 2 skeins because I don't want to have to buy a 3rd skein. I'll probably make it work no matter what because I don't want to have to buy a 3rd skein. So there is a way of doing this, changing your colors, because you do have to cut the colors. You carry the white one, but you do have to cut your colors, but you weave them in as you go. And so there's a way of doing that. There's 2 ways of doing that actually. And so you're not having to weave in ends at the end. You don't have a ton of ends to weave in, which would make this no fun. But you do it as you go. Then you're just cutting little tails off at the end, and it's all really good. So this is Amazing Day by Ho-He, which is Joji. I think she's Brazilian, I think. And yeah, 6 skeins of our mini and 2 skeins of our lamb and goat. So I sort of went into what we were going to get. So we're getting more of the DK. We're filling out the DK wall. This is now set. And then the other big yarn that's about to come in that we're going to start carrying again. This yarn's been around for a long, long time. And she carried it for back in the day. And then she hasn't carried it for a while. And that's Blue Sky Fibers. So Blue Sky Fibers is about alpaca. Everything's about alpaca and Blue Sky Fibers. I mean, they have other things too, but it started really about alpaca and using baby alpaca fibers. And it's just always very scrumptious. Their pattern line is very simple, tailored, you know, nothing frilly. It's a very simple, clean lines, which is what we pretty much knit around here, is a lot of clean lines. So the patterns work really well for us. They do have, now that I said that, they have one pattern that's out right now called the Denmark cardigan and picture. And this one is ruched. So it's like, it's this cool thing. So it's knit side to side. You start here and you actually have ruching. You'll see on the picture. So cool looking. So, and it's done out of a brushed alpaca, Surrey alpaca. So there are grades of alpaca. Surrey is the softest of the grades of alpaca. And so anyway, so when it comes in, I think I'm gonna knit that up to see what life is really like knitting this up. Make sure it's not, make sure we can do it, that students can do it and not be going crazy. So anyway, so that is coming in. We have bundles. They have these minis bundled in 27 colors. So you buy 27 colors. And then there are patterns coming up, which I'll put up here, that that they have using the 27 bundles. And yeah, so lots of fun. And then the other thing that came in was we restocked some of our earth sock yarn. So the earth sock yarn, I mean, besides socks, and it's got other shawls, there's lots of things you can do. It's a striping yarn, but what it's most famous for using as is the butterfly shawl, which, you know, has been around here since I've been around here. So, which I guess is like 3.5 years now. 4 years, 4.5 years. I don't know. So anyways, this butterfly shawl is really fun. So it takes 2 skeins. I'm pretty sure it was 2 skeins and 2 skeins and 1 skein of the color. So the color work is all done by the yarn. So the yarn is long striping. It takes a long time to go through a color. And so you're just using, this is only 2 yarns. But the yarn does this all by itself, and somehow it just does it perfectly. And yeah, so this is a I would call advanced intermediate pattern, but it's very, very well written. And with my couple little tips that I figured out while I was knitting this, you can do it. It's a bunch of short rows, and mostly it was keeping track of counting, a place where you have to count in a lot of places, and how to keep track of that so you know what you're doing. But you know, it's fun. But this is a labor of love, and I did love doing this. This was, again, one of the more fun knits I ever knit, because there's just so much going on. The color changing is so great. So so yeah, so if you've been around a while and been knitting, and you know you've done some short rowing, you know, simple short rowing, you can do this. So good intermediate, advanced intermediate, and you can do this pattern. So this is Papillon, or the butterfly shawl. You can look it up on Ravelry on either one, and we have the yarn back in stock for that. Okay, we got classes coming up. This Sunday's class is always Sunday, 10 to 12, is the slip stitch shawl class, or cowl class. So this is the Serenity Shawl. The yarn is a cotton poly blend, really soft, not scratchy at all. There's nothing scratchy about this at all. It's very drapey, as you can see. It's a slip stitch pattern, which means you're doing the color work, because there is color work here. You're doing the color work, but you're only carrying one yarn at a time. So you're not having to carry 2 yarns and work with 2 yarns. You're carrying one at a time, and you slip certain stitches, which makes the old color come up while you knit the new color. And it's a very mosaic. It's called mosaic, slip stitch mosaic. Mosaics are really fun. I love knitting mosaics. And then we also, the Shift Cowl by Andrea Mowry is also very similar to this. It's also, we have the shawl in here. The patterns are very similar. But so if you want to do the shawl, you can do the shawl. You can do this. That's a big shawl. You could do this smaller shawl or scarfy shawl or cowl. And the cowl, you can do out of the same yarn too. And it is also slip stitch and very similar to slip stitch to this one. So those are the options of the class this coming Sunday. So if you're interested, come in and find yarn and sign up for the class. And then the next Sunday after that, the 28th, is the blanket class. So that one's pretty full. I've got a couple spaces open for regular workshop people. So if you want to come to that class, you need to get your name in because those spots will go really fast. Because I have like 6 or 7 blanket people already. So, and we'll start talking about the blanket class probably in November. So that's the class on the 28th. The Halloween class will include pumpkin patterns, the witch pattern, which also has a little black cat. And our new pattern is this little guy, Susan B. Anderson's. All these pumpkins are just a pumpkin pattern. But the witches and everything else are all Susan B. Anderson. And again, why I love her patterns is because everything is picked up. So you pick up on the arm and you knit it out. But not only is it picked up and you're not having to sew it on, you have placed purl bumps right where you have to pick it up. So it's already even been placed where you're picking it up and you're not having to go, oh, is this too far forward? Is this too far back? It's already been decided for you. And I love that. I absolutely love that. So that's same with here. The tail is a little I-cord that you pick up and put in. He has a hood, see, because he really is a bear. Isn't it adorable? And this is his cat. He's a cat for Halloween. So this is his cat outfit. So there's his little cat ears, his little cat tail, and everything. So anyways, this is our bear. There's also one that you would get, there's a pattern for a Christmas bear. And there's the original pattern is a bunny ear bear, where he's wearing a bunny suit for Easter. So you buy the original pattern, which is the bunny one. And then she, on her website, has the changes you make to make this one and the Christmas one. But you have to buy the original one to get the whole pattern. So go on to Susan B. Anderson. They'll be linking down in the email and underneath this video where you can get the patterns. And then anyway, so this is the first Sunday of October. Sorry, I probably said November. First Sunday of October is our Halloween classes. So Sunday 10 to 12. And as I said, we've got pumpkins, we've got witches, we've got black cats. Now we have a bear in a cat costume. Yay. So I think that does it. That does it for today. And it's cooled down. We're getting busier because people are all in school now. And yep, the holidays are coming. I better get started. And so you better get started if you haven't already. And come in on the studio and we'll help you find what you need. And come to workshops if you need some help. And there's, of course, privates if you need that kind of too. We also have crochet privates. And we have a kids class now that's happening Saturday afternoons for kids. So there's a lot going on in here. So go to the website, call in, come in, better to come in and see what we've got going. And I hope to see you in the studio real soon. Bye.